Morning ladies, happy Friday the 12th of March. Sophie from SV Sports Therapy here, based at your Gunpowder Park gym. This morning I'd love to share some information with you about your rotator cuff muscles. These are 4 muscles that make up the complex of the shoulder blade, attaching the shoulder blade onto your ball and socket joint, onto your shoulder joint. I'm sure many of you have heard of your loved ones or even yourself having something called rotator cuff injury or rotator cuff impingement or strain. It's very, very common. And there's one muscle or tendon, which is an elasticated band that attaches the shoulder blade through the ball and socket joint and at the front, and it's called the supraspinatus. That's the most common tendon that gets aggravated in shoulder impingement or rotator cuff pain. Why do we get so much rotator cuff problems? It's mainly because of the weakness around the shoulder blade and the rotation and the movement that we have in our shoulders. A lot of us are desk-bound workers. A lot of us are tight in our chest. If you're heavy-breasted as well, that creates a roundness in your shoulders, and so on and so forth. They can have a knock-on effect. So I want to show you one mobilisation exercise today. There's a whole plethora of exercises associated with the rotator cuff, and I think it can become quite overwhelming out there. So I want to show you one that I feel is a really, really good way for you to connect with your shoulder blade. A lot of people don't really understand what the shoulder blade does, and it's basically an irregular shaped bone that sits on the rack of ribs. So it's not actually a joint. It's not like your elbow, which is a hinge joint, or your ball and socket joint, which is your shoulder joint. So it's quite misunderstood. So I want to show you one exercise this morning. You can do this on all fours, or you can do this standing, but I feel you get a better movement when you're doing it on all fours. So we're going to go on to all fours, and you're going to not bend the elbows. So you're going to keep the elbows straight the whole time you're doing this exercise. You'll have a tendency to want to bend the elbows, but don't, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to create a push back. So you're going to try and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Imagine you've put a 1p piece in between your shoulder blades. You want to really squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then you want to prise them apart. So a lot of Pilates exercises we call cat, camel, happy cat, sad cat. When we're doing our pelvic tilts and our arches, we're not actually moving our pelvis on this one, okay? We're using the shoulder blades. So you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, keeping your elbows straight, and then you're going to push up. So you're pushing into the floor, and you're trying to prise the shoulder blades apart. If you think, I don't know what I'm doing, you're probably doing it right, because it feels, sorry, I've got a new tripod today, left the other one in the clinic. If you feel like you're doing it wrong or you're not doing it quite right, you're probably doing it correctly, because it's such a small movement. You're not looking, it's not like a mini press up, it's not cat camel in Pilates when we're moving the pelvis and the arching the back. You're just creating that movement in the shoulder blades. So it's not a large movement. So let's do it together again. So you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and then prise them apart without creating that arch. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and then prise them apart, okay? So you can see here how you're starting to wrap around the side of my upper back and then squeezing them together, keeping the elbows straight. So forward and backwards movement is one. I would suggest 10 of them nice and slowly. Just really getting an idea of how your shoulder blades are moving. You might feel one is more sticky than the other. Just slowly go through that, especially if you've been sitting at the desk for a long time. When should you do this, or when could you do this? Be great to do it before an ab-fab class. Be great to do if you're going to do some painting or some gardening throughout the day, which is where a lot of the rotator cuff injuries come from. They normally come from sort of DIY, gardening, repetitive motions. So yes, pop yourself on the floor, slowly go through what we call the protraction, when we're going towards the floor, and then the retraction when we're going squeezing them together. Careful not to create a chin poke, keep the chin nice and relaxed. So have a go at that exercise. That's for your shoulder blades. Reach out to us on social media or drop us a message on the Ab Fab Facebook page. Have a wonderful Friday, and I'll see you next Friday for some more shoulder health exercises. That's Sophie from SV Sports Therapy. Bye for now.